Welcome to the Oviedo High School registration video. The registration process. Your current core academic teachers, so your English, Math, Science, and Social Studies teacher, will enter the next academic course they suggest for you to take. Example, if you are a 9th grader in Algebra 1 Honors, your current Algebra 1 Honors teacher will enter the next course for you to take that they recommend. They may pick, for example, Geometry Honors. They will meet with you during class to discuss their selection. If you or your parents would like to take a different class, for example, Standard Geometry, you need to discuss this with your teacher. If your teacher is in agreement with the change, they will change their course request for you. If the teacher is not in agreement with the change, your parent would need to fill out and sign the parent waiver section on the course registration card. Then your counselor will change the request in Skyward. This is the only way it will be changed in Skyward. If your parent does not sign the parent waiver section of your course registration card, you will be placed in the class that your teacher recommends for you. Registration cards will be distributed through English classes. If you did not receive your card, you can pick one up in the front office. Important dates. From February 11th through the 13th, Skyward will be open so that you can enter in your elective choices. The core classes will already be entered by your current teachers, and you will not be allowed to edit these. On February 14th, all course registration cards are due. You will turn in your cards to your English teachers. If you don't have an English class on campus, you can turn it in to the front office. Schedule change policy. If you need to make changes to your course requests after you turn in your course registration card, you can fill out a schedule change form and give it to your counselor. If you want to make changes after the school year starts, you have the first 5 days of each semester to turn in a schedule change form. Schedule changes are not guaranteed, and changes will be made only if it is approved by the administrator and if there is room in the course that's requested. This is the new schedule change form. I want to point out a few important parts. The circled area is your email address and your parents' email address. This is how we will communicate with you if we have a question. So please put whatever email address you check and the ones that your parents check most often. In this section, you would put the class that you want to drop. In this case, it's Physics Honors. In this section, you want to put the class that you want to add. In this case, it's Physics Standard. Do not leave this section blank. If you are dropping an elective class, you need to give us a couple choices of other elective classes you would like to be in. Please do not leave this section blank or you will get the form turned back to you. Please note that when you request a schedule change, other classes, including lunch, may change. If you do not want this to happen, you need to let us know on the form that you don't want any other classes to change. Now that might mean that the schedule change that you are requesting then is not possible. Do not attend the new requested classes until you see your new schedule on Skyward. So you need to log into Skyward on the computer, not the app, so that you can see your new schedule. And schedule change requests are not guaranteed. Make sure that you have a parent signature. No form will be processed without a parent signature. To be considered a 10th grader, you need to have earned at least 6 credits. 11th grader, you need to earn at least 12. And to be a 12th grader, you need to earn at least 19 credits. And then to graduate, you need the specific 26 required credits. For academic dual enrollment, you must have a 3.0 unweighted GPA and have a college-ready test score on the SAT, ACT, or PERT. You want to be careful with dual enrollment. You need to make sure that you are academically ready and mature enough to take a college class because you are starting your college transcript and college GPA. If you do poorly, that can affect four-year university admissions, scholarships, and even financial aid. If you plan to take a dual enrollment core class, you will need to fill out the application, the 868 form, and the registration form. Once all of that is complete, we will change your request on Skyward. If you plan to take a dual enrollment elective class, you can sign up for the dual enrollment course code when you request your electives online through Skyward. If you do not turn in the dual enrollment information by the end of the school year, which is the application, the 868 form, and the registration form, you will be taken out of the dual enrollment period and placed in an elective here on campus. If you register for a virtual elective on your schedule for next year, you must request the SCVS course by Valentine's Day 2/14, the same day your registration cards are due. If you don't register for the actual virtual class, then you will be dropped from the virtual period. You can now register for virtual classes 6 months in advance. You will also need to complete a virtual class request form. If you are planning on taking a core class through SCVS next year, you will need to request the course online and fill out a virtual request form. Once the counselors receive the form and verify that you have registered for the actual class, we will change your request in Skyward. If you don't fill out the form and sign up for the actual class, you will stay in the class here on campus. To register for an SCVS course, please go to www.scvs.us and click on the big green rectangle that says Register for Courses here and follow the instructions. This is the new virtual class request form, and I want to point out a few important parts. The parts that's circled here is where you will list the virtual courses that you want to take. So when you go online to the virtual website and you select a course, you will write down the specific course you want to take here. Then you need to choose whether you want to take it on campus or off campus. In the section that's circled right here is where you would select that you want to take criminal justice, for this example, on campus. Now, you don't select the period that you want to take it on campus. We will fit it into your schedule. This is a section where you can select an off-campus course. So if, in this example, you want to take law studies off-campus, first period, this is what you would circle. You need to let us know what period you want to take a class off campus. You can only be off campus either at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. You cannot be off campus in the middle of the day and come back to school. So if you want 1 or 7, 1 and 2, 6 and 7, or 1 and 7, that's possible, but it has to be at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And again, on this form, make sure you have a parent signature. No form will be processed without a parent signature. Only seniors are allowed to have modified schedules or off periods. It is not recommended for college purposes to not have a rigorous senior schedule. Please take note of that. To qualify for a modified schedule or off period, seniors must have at least a 2.5 GPA, be on track for graduation, have no more than 5 unexcused absences during the previous semester, and have transportation that allows them to leave early or come late. You cannot stay on campus. This is the modified schedule request form. And again, I want to point out some important parts of the form. At the top here, please put an accurate student email, whichever email address you use and check regularly, as this is how we will communicate with you if we have questions. In this section is where you will choose what periods you want to have off. Just like with virtual, you have to have your off periods at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. So you cannot have an off period in the middle of the day and be on campus before and on campus after that. So your choices are 1st, 7th, 1st and 7th, 1st and 2nd, or 6th and 7th. And just like with every form, please make sure your parent signs it. No form will be processed without a parent signature. Graduation requirements. You need to complete the required specific 26 credits. You need to have at least a 2.0 GPA. You need to pass the 10th grade level FSA and the Algebra 1 EOC. You have to participate in the biology, geometry, and U.S. history EOCs, and you must complete at least one online class. For the 26 required credits, you must have 4 credits of English, English 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4 credits of math that must include Algebra 1 and geometry. Your 4 math credits must be earned while you're in high school. So if you've taken Algebra 1 and geometry in middle school, those will count as electives for you, but you must have 4 math classes while you're in high school. 4 credits of science, and you must have biology. 3 credits of social studies that must include world history, U.S. history, and government and economics. 1 credit of PE, half of that must be personal fitness. 1 fine arts credit and 9 elective credits, including 1 online class. It is recommended that college-bound students take 2 years of the same world language. Those requirements are for the standard diploma pathway. We do have other diploma pathways available. For the Scholars Pathway Diploma, you must earn all of the standard pathway diploma requirements, plus have Algebra 2 and 1 credit in statistics or an equally rigorous math course, 1 credit in chemistry or physics, 1 credit in a science course equally rigorous to chemistry or physics, 2 years of the same world language, 1 AP or dual enrollment class, and passing EOC scores. For Scholars with Distinction, you must have all of the Scholar Pathway Diploma requirements, plus have at least a 3.75 GPA, 3 years of the same world language, 6 AP classes with an A or B average, 2 of those can be dual enrollment, and then the last requirement is 1 credit in experimental research with an A or B average, or senior portfolio, or a 4th year of a world language, or 1 extra AP or dual enrollment class. For the Merit Pathway Diploma, you must have all of the standard pathway diploma requirements and earn an industry certification. For the Advanced Placement Capstone Diploma, you must have 4 AP courses and the exams, plus AP Research and AP Seminar. For the Biliteracy Diploma, you need to have the standard pathway diploma requirements, plus 4 world language credits with at least a 3.0 GPA, and earn a qualifying score on the World Language Assessment. This is what the course registration card looks like. The important part of the course request form, the first part is the student and parent email address. Please make sure again that you use current email addresses and email addresses that you check often. In this section of the course request form, you will write the actual course names of all of the courses you would like to take. In this section, your teachers will initial approving the course that you decided to take. So you can see in this example, the teacher did not initial for AP US History, meaning that they did not agree with the student taking that class. Some electives, like higher level electives like Spanish 3, for example, or AP Statistics, will need a teacher's signature as well, but classes like Digital Info Technology, for example, may not. In this section is where you will write how many credits a course is worth. So you will either have 0.5 or 1. Mathematically, the total must equal 7. In this section, you will write your alternate course choices. If we cannot give you one of your first choices, we will look here for an alternate. Do not leave this section blank. If you leave it blank and we cannot give you one of your first choice electives, we will have to put you in what's available. Please make sure your parents sign your course request form. As I've said before, no forms will be processed without a parent signature. If you are requesting any AP classes for next year, your parents will need to sign this section of the course request form, agreeing with the Advanced Placement Classes policies. This section of the course request form is the parent waiver section. So in this example, the teacher did not sign as an agreement for the student to take APUSH or AP US History. So the parent would be waiving their student into this class. So they would need to write APUSH or whatever class they're waiving you into, and they would also need to sign this section of the parent waiver form on the course request form. If this is not done, you will stay in the classes that the teachers have suggested that you take. Remember, Skyward will be open from February 11th through the 13th so that you can enter in your elective choices. The core classes will already be there. On February 14th, all course registration cards are due and you will turn them into your English teachers. If you do not have an English class, you can turn it into the front office. Remember, if you register for an on or off-campus virtual period on your schedule, you must sign up for the actual SCVS class. If you do not do this by February 14th, we will remove you from the virtual period. To register for an SCVS class, go to www.scvs.us and click on the large green rectangle that says Register for Courses here and follow the instructions. For the class of 2021 and after, the Bright Futures test scores have changed. The needed score for the highest level of Bright Futures is a 1330 on the SAT or a 29 on the ACT. For the next level down, the score is a 1210 on the SAT or a 25 on the ACT. This is a change from previous graduation years. If you have any questions, please contact your counselor. The best contact method is email. If you are a junior, please refer to the information you received during your credit check earlier this year. If your last name starts with A through DEB, your counselor is Mrs. Lightsey. DEC through HA, your counselor is Mrs. Riley. HB through MIK, your counselor is Mrs. Burke. MIL through R, your counselor is Mrs. Washington. S through Z, your counselor is Mrs. Vosberg. All ESE except gifted, your counselor is Mrs. Valentine. And the counseling secretary is Mrs. Williford. Please notice our email addresses so that if you need to email us and ask us any questions, they're listed here for you.